Okay, good morning. Bristol Motor Speedway, outlying areas, Johnson City, Elizabethton, Irwin, Bluffton, wherever you might be staying. But welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway. And we're glad to be here for week number 3 in our 2014 season. And what better way to start it off than have our points leader join us here today, and that's Dale Earnhardt Jr. He drives the number 88 National Guard Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And Dale, coming to Bristol, certainly first short track on the circuit this season, and certainly lends to be an exciting weekend. But just talk about your mindset coming here. You had come off to a hot start, and what are you looking for here this weekend?
Just have some fun. This is a fun racetrack. We love racing on the short tracks, and we don't get to do a whole lot of it throughout the year. So really hoping to just be able to get all, make all the laps. And if you're out there making all the laps, you're going to be enjoying yourself, because you can't run around here without having fun. And it's really cold, and hopefully the weather's going to steer clear. But it'll be awesome. It's going to be an awesome nationwide race to watch. I got a couple cars in there. We feel like we got a shot to compete for the win there, and hopefully we'll have a good weekend with that. And Kevin's won some races here, so we're excited to see him drive for us here at this track. And the Cup car, we'll just get in there and see how it is today. And like I said, just have some fun. I love coming here. I've been coming here since I was real little. Even over Charlotte, this was the one race I didn't want to miss all year long, or the 2 races that I didn't want to miss, especially the night race. That was just so much fun when you're a kid. But hopefully we'll have a good time, and hopefully the car's going to be fun to drive. Hopefully Steve's got her handling good. And we'll work on it. If you don't, we'll keep plugging away till we get what we want.
All right, we'll take some questions. We'll start with Jenna, then we'll go to Mike Embry, and then to Claire B. Lang. If we could get the wireless. Thank you.
Jenna Fryer, AP. Dale, I know Brian France in the past has sort of said how you go, the series attention goes. And I was home on Monday watching a national news program, and they said they were teasing right before the sports break, and they said, we'll show you what Tiger Woods did yesterday and see what happened to Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the last lap. It was the second sports story of a national news program, and it wasn't Brian Williams. So I'm wondering if you're starting to notice that as you're running this well, if you're starting to notice it growing and the attention picking up on NASCAR.
It's hard for me to kind of have my finger on the pulse and know exactly how much the needle's moving. And they say that we can't really look at the Daytona race because of the rain out, but that the network broadcasts are about the same, if not a little bit, a percentage point one way or the other. I guess my fans been tuning in all along, but we just enjoy what we do, and I try not to really worry about. I can't concern myself with how much I move the needle, and I think that that goes outside of my comfort zone and what I feels what I think you need to concern yourself with if you're as an individual. I just don't think that that's something that it's relevant to me, of course, but not important to me. And I want the sport to be healthy, and I want to do things that help the sport and make an impact on the sport, and I try to do those things, and always taking opinions and advice on what I can do better and what I'm not doing that I could be doing to help the sport. You want to leave a mark of some kind. We all do. Everybody here wants to have some sort of mark left in their field and in the sport, because we all care about it. But there's so many personalities and other drivers and new guys coming in, and it's an ebb and flow of personalities and so I try not to get too caught up in it because it ain't always going to be that way. Something could happen this weekend between two different drivers that reach far beyond what I could do, and that'll be great. And that's how the sport survives. It definitely doesn't live and breathe on everything that I got going on. It would be perfectly fine without me, but I'm glad to be a part of it.
We'll go with Mike Embry, Claire B. Lang, Nate Ryan. Mike Embry, right here, please.
Mike Embry, USA Today. Dale, do you believe in this concept of a driver or another athlete being in the zone? And if so, are you currently in it with the start you have?
Well, we really got to take last week into perspective. We were going to probably run 4th to 8th in that race if we stayed on the strategy with everyone else. So we can't, get too carried away by, we were in position to win, but we did that on a strategy that a lot of people weren't willing to take, and we're not going to be able to do that every week, and so we're not going to be able to turn an 8th or a 5th place run into a 2nd or 3rd or 1st place run every week. So we got to, keep it in the perspective of what happened last week. We weren't by any means running with Brad and those guys up front battling for the lead at any point in the day. So we definitely can look at that and be excited that we had a chance to win, but also we need to really focus more on how we get better so we don't have to, we're running up front regardless of the strategy we're running and the fuel strategy we use. So, but, it feels we started off last year, I thought, with a lot of top fives and stuff to jump into the points lead early in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season, and we got we did some things just like we did at Vegas. We went to California last year and we're like 22nd on that last restart. We come in and got tires and we passed about 10, 15 cars on the outside in 1 and 2, and somehow nobody got in the way, and we got lucky and ended up running second after they wrecked in the corner down there for the win. So just things happen. Sometimes for you and sometimes against you, and we've just been getting the luck here lately. So hopefully we can keep it going. This place here ain't going to hand you no favors and give you no inch. So you're going to have to work hard to get whatever you take out of here. You're going to earn it.
Let's go to Claire, Nate Ryan, Bob Pockris. Claire?
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I got a call on the air that said, do you like the old Bristol better than the new Bristol? And I said, the new Bristol on the old format, or the new format on the new Bristol? You know what I mean? And 3 of you can race with reckless abandon, while 40 others are going to fight like dogs to get in. So to answer that question, what do you think? You got the new format and the new surface at Bristol, but do you think it'll be any different at Bristol here, more aggressive or anything?
Yeah, I think so. I've talked about this year before with several of you. If you look back at the Bristol race, and it's the one that comes to mind because it's just a perfect scenario where Matt was leading and Casey was running second. I think Casey would have been much more aggressive in that situation to try to get the win had we been using the current format for the point system. So, yeah, when it comes down to it, if you got a guy running second within reach of the leader, and he needs a win, he's going to do a little bit more than he probably would have done last year, probably be a little more aggressive, and rightfully so. I think that, things definitely changed, and things have changed in the drivers' mentalities over the years. Used to see people using the bumper all the time. A lot of that does have to do with how we run the racetrack now versus years ago. They ran right on the bottom, and that was the only way you could get around people was to move them. But, the mentality's changed over the years, and you don't want to go throw your trash in your neighbor's yard just for the hell of it. But if you give me a good reason, I might do it. So, that's what so that's kind of, you want to dump somebody at a racetrack like this, you're going to need really good reason to do it. And so the mentality's changed over the years, and the new system changes that mindset slightly to where, if you move a guy out of the way, you can you know, for lack of a better way to explain, you can blame the system and get, you know, and move on. And you know, years ago, I don't know what, you know, how that's changed or whatever, but they would, you know, they'd run over each other and argue about it and throw water bottles but then, you know, the next week they could be professional and go and race at the next racetrack, and you know, that was the way it was. And you know, this new system's definitely, you need to win. Winning's important. So if you need to move somebody to win, the guy that gets moved has to see it coming, and you know, and understand that in the same situation he may have done the same thing. You know, so I think that that's a good thing, and hopefully, you know, not that we all want to go out there and see each other running in each other in the fence, but hopefully that definitely is what we see at places like Bristol, and we're presented with them opportunities, and fans get more excitement and get more bang for their buck. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to change the way people do strategy. We saw that last week, and at the short tracks, it's definitely, you know, going to change the way guys are going to race each other. You know, at the short tracks where you can get within reach of each other, you're definitely going to maybe be more aggressive in them situations for sure.
Go to Nate right here, Mike Massaro, and then Melinda right next door.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Dale, you kind of touched on it, but if you did want to go throw trash in your neighbor's yard with this new configuration, the accepted way of doing it for however many years, decades, was just the bump and run when you guys were on the bottom. But now you guys are on the top. So how do you rough somebody up? Is there still a bump and run type strategy, or how do you do it when a guy's up against the wall?
Yeah, you know, you just he's going to get the quarter pound on the fence a little bit, and but he'll be able to race on. The thing about it is you know, fans will even tell you this. They don't like you to park a guy. Nobody likes, you know, it's just wrong to fence a guy and end his race. But, you know, and I don't think the drivers ever intentionally do that. You know, I've tried to move guys and accidentally spun them out before. I mean, that happens. But, you know, at the short tracks, you're not running as fast, and you can just get a guy loose. And if you're running a high line, he might get he gets quarter pound on the fence. Logano and Denny were an example of that. Logano was able to race on and finish the day, and be, you know, relatively competitive. So, you know, you can move a guy out of the way and get to position and make the pass without just ruining his day and throwing away everything him and his team worked for. You know, you take the spot, and that's how you try to do it. That's how you try to accomplish it.
Actually, I promised Bob first. We'll go Bob, Mike, Melinda.
Bob Hockers.
Probably not going to be able to get to everybody because we've got about 28 questions in here, but we'll get as many as we can.
Bob Hockers, Sporting News. Since you finally got home, were you able to do any sort of Daytona 500 celebration with your family, or was that just out at the racetrack with Carson?
I got home and Sonny was there, my mom was there, and it was like 2:30 in the morning. So Mom and Sonny and I and another buddy of mine, Sean Brawley, we drank a beer and talked a little bit about the race, and you know, I had just stuff was piled up everywhere that I had to go through and do, and I needed to go over to HMS, and we have our team meeting, and so it was a pretty typical week, and I did a photo shoot with the Unilever folks and had a little work and got back to normal, and went to see Carson. She runs with the box stocks. Over the last several years, she's run with the box stocks, which is basically kids her age, and this year she's moved up to the big carts with the grown men, and she ran fourth against 12 carts. So I was blown away. That was a lot of fun to watch her do that. I'm sitting there watching these guys, these grown men, like all of us our age, walking around in this little dirt track, and she beat, you know, several of them. So she's just a little girl. So it was pretty crazy. Real proud of her. So yeah, we had a good week, and it was nice to be home. My family was real excited to see me.
We'll go with Mike over here, Melinda, and then we'll go to David Caravello.
Dale, with the start that you're off to, you've already reached a historic landmark, so to speak, being one of only 5 guys to start the season with 3 consecutive top 2 finishes. Still, there's one more notch. There's only been one guy who's done it 4 straight.
Oh.
That's Richard Petty.
Yeah.
And I know you're a historian of sorts in this sport. What would it mean to you to join Richard Petty as being the only other driver to start the season with 4 straight top 2 finishes?
Well, that's, anytime, I'm going to sound cliche, but anytime you do anything that Richard's done and you put yourself in a conversation with him to do with any statistic, it's, a pretty awesome accomplishment because of everything that he's ever done, winning as many races as he has and running as many races as he has. He's been such a fixture in the sport still today. But, yeah, that'd be awesome. I think just something else we can hang our hat on. And we got a shot at it, man. We really run good here. I like coming here, and we felt real good about our car last time we were here when the 5 or the 21. We were running with those guys, and we ended up sort of chickening out on the fuel strategy and pitting and ended up giving up all our track positions. So with the way things are now, we don't have to do that. We can go for it and be aggressive, and so that'll be interesting to see if we can be in a situation to do that and try to capitalize and get another win or another top 3 and top 2 or whatever we need to join Richard in that statistic. But we'll be going for it.
Let's go Melinda. We'll go David Caravello and then Mark Garrow.
Melinda Adams, ESPN. I'm just wondering, do you feel any pressure at all about, being the person that can, elevate NASCAR to another level? You said you wanted to leave your mark, but do you feel any pressure at all?
It's a very uncomfortable question, and to get asked about it is really makes me uncomfortable because there's so many other drivers there's guys like Jimmy, that have done so much and accomplished much more than I have, and they do a lot to elevate the sport. They do a lot of things that carry the sport as well or better than I do. So it's just very uncomfortable because I don't have the accolades and the hardware that a lot of these guys have, like a championship and things like that. So I can, I'm comfortable with the popularity and things like that because I feel like that we do a lot and we have a great fan base and we do a lot to engage with them, but carrying the sport is a whole nother conversation, or being the face of the sport is a whole nother conversation. So it's very, very uncomfortable position to be put in, and I don't think it's realistic. I think that like I said, all the drivers have a role in that, and they're actively doing that.
All right, we got time for 3 more. Apologize we couldn't get to them all. We'd be here a long time. David Caravello, Mark Garrow, and we're going to end with Dustin Long.
David Caravello, NASCAR.com. I understand you guys took the gamble you wanted to take last weekend when you finished second, but coming that close to winning and not winning, did you chew on it for a while? Does it stick with you? Did winning in Daytona make it easier to leave that coming close behind?
No, it bothers you, and it will anytime you talk about it. We'd still talk about Charlotte years ago running out of gas off of 4, and it bothers you when you talk about it. There's part of you that's like, man, we almost won that race, but then you think about those words. We almost won that race, and you get damn disappointed all over again. But yeah, I mean, it'll bother you because it's Vegas too. It's a big race. It's a unique market, and they definitely have a whole different way of presenting our sport from the way we do the drivers meeting. Everything about that whole town is unique and different. So to win there, I think would be a lot of fun and a good celebration and an enjoyable time, and something that you could be real proud of. So I was very disappointed to come up short. At the same time, we took a gamble that wasn't supposed to make it, and I can justify why we didn't win, but to come that close really does disappoint you.
2 more. Dustin, Jim Utter. 2 more.
Dustin Long, MRN.com. Dale, you talked about this new format. There's almost the expectation now that you could get hit from behind in the closing laps if you're the leader. That said, somebody does that and you understand why it happens, they still got one coming from you, don't they? I mean, how does that doesn't change? I mean, that doesn't change the driver's mentality.
Off, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely are going to be upset, if you get run over or get moved out of the way. That's not going to be fun. And yeah, I mean, especially in front of the fans of the sport, in attendance or on television, nobody likes to get showed up, put in a fence, or moved out of the way. You feel, So you're obviously going to have a tinge of revenge in the back of your mind, and you'll carry that with you. You might do it, you might not. I got ran over accidentally. I ran my first nationwide race at Myrtle Beach, and Jeff Green was in front of me. I was running 7th. Jeff was 6th, and Jason Keller was 5th, and Jeff pushed Jason into the corner, way up into the marbles in 3 and 4, and Jason just turned left and was trying to get back down the track and hit Jeff Green in the quarter panel, and he hit me in the door as I was following through and spun me out. And I always wanted to get Jason Keller back, but I never did. I just never was in the perfect. And I know Jason's a great guy, and I probably would have never been able to bring myself to do it. But some people you get a chance to get back. Sometimes it's teed up perfectly right in front of you, and you take it. And then sometimes you just never see them again, or you never are in that position racing for a win, or you just never presented the opportunity for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, if somebody runs you over, you definitely can put it in your back of your mind, and you don't ever forget it.
See if we can get him back out here sometime. Jim, your last question.
You still looking for him?
No. That was 1996, man, but I was hot. I was running top 10 in my first Busch race, man. I was trying to make it.
I hope he don't see you on the highway. Jim out of Charlotte Observer. Last week, Brad Kozlowski seemed extremely enthused to be joining this group of you and Kevin Harvick of already having a win in the bank, and he's anxious, he said, to beginning to take chances because I'm a guy who does that and so forth. I just wondered, as the weeks go on here, how do you think this dynamic will affect the racing? You'll have a growing number of people like yourself who are strong teams and have wins in the bank for the chase, along with a group of people as the weeks go by that are running out of time to get that. It seems like a mix that could produce even more kind of action on the track than maybe people first realize.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. When it was just me and Kevin, and you guys began to talk about that, and we began to think about being able to be more, man, the pressure's off. You were like, man, I don't want anybody else in this club, right? So Brad's in it, who's probably the last guy you want in the club, because they gamble regardless of the system, right? Some of the things they did in the chase to win the championship that year were big gambles, and they were gutsy to do it. But so, yeah, they'll take risks and stay out on old tires, and Brad will drive his guts out. We know that. But, yeah, I mean, the more people that join it, as a member, as an early member of the group, you don't want anybody else in. You like that advantage, if you will. So, but I think as more people are lumped into that winner's box, yeah, you're definitely going to see, it'll be good, I think, to see guys out there on so many different strategies, and it'll provide more passing because you'll have guys on old tires, guys come in and get 2 tires, new tires, whatever. You're going to be at tracks where you'll see there'll be a difference in performance between vehicles because of the strategies, and therefore there'll be more closer racing and more action. The cars won't just get spread out because everybody will have the same tires, same fuel. It'll be a little bit different at each track, and it'll present some good races more often than not.
Dale, thank you for coming in. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys.